So, starting my talk, asking a very basic and and maybe interesting question that's something we all should at least give it a thought. That why do we need a startup? Everything is going great. You are in this the JNU, or you are doing engineering. Your basic amenities like the clothes, food, and shelter, they all will be like pretty good covered. You will get good reputation. You will get a good lifestyle, and it is going to be a really good time. So why do we need to do a startup? Why to take so much risk? The risk that can make you bankrupt. The risk that can actually lead to the risk that can actually make you homeless. And even the Elon Musk faced that too. So talking about the startup, so there are like so many answers. People have so many versions of the answer that why do they need startup. And there are like in those so many versions. There are like some misleading versions that are really popular. So I want to talk about them. Like, many think that the startup is going to make them ultra rich. They are going to have Lamborghini, Ferrari, and Bugatti parked in their garages. They are going to like be the world famous. They are going to be like celebrity walking on the red carpets. They are going to have a luxurious life, and a life where they don't have responsibility, where they don't have to think about much things, and they will be like after retirement stuff, and they will be like making picnics on the Long Beach. And and someone wants to get rid of the job, the 9 to 5 job purposes, and some they want to just get rid of their boss. So these are something that are really not going to happen unless and until you work on. And talking about the responsibility and the time you have to invest on things, it is not going to be like the 9 to 5. It is going to be 24/7. Each night, even when you're sleeping, the things will be going in your mind, and you will be like doing everything. So whatever the public actually hears from the concept of the startup is actually is actually misleading. So I want to address this question. So the main aim of the startup, and if you're gonna look to the heroes that have created successful and impactful startup like Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, at some extent, the Jeff Bezos, you're going to then notice these points, that they're creating solutions for a better world with less problems and suffering. They're going to create something from the nothing. They're going to invest their time. They're going to invest their risk competency in the fields where the land is barren, where there is where no one has actually no one has actually done anything. They plan, they imagine, they envision. And if I'm going to talk about the Steve Jobs, he's like the great guy. And even the technologies that we are using at our home, that the technology that we are interacting through, his are the products of his vision only. If we talks about the early ages of the computing, when there was IBM, Sun Microtex, and there was HP also. They were like producing machines for the industry. They are producing software. They're producing their computing industry, only focusing on the business. Even the IBM stand for that, international business machines. So Steve Jobs came, he discovered a newer market. He started a concept of personal computing. And today the smartphones that are actually tailored for the personal uses, and that are actually and even the Facebook is also tailored for the personal uses. And the laptops that we use, these are all the product of the Steve Jobs vision. And believe me or not, those who, even the Microsoft that has a Windows operating system, they also ramped up their software and their operating system on that vision only. And that's why most of us have the Windows also, and most of us maybe having the Macintosh. So so those companies who can't ramp up their operating systems on that vision, they just got vanished from that field. Yes, they are on the other fields. IBM still makes servers. IBM still do like many things. If there was symbolic operating system. There was like DOS. They were all for the faster computing, all for the business purposes. But they just got vanished because they just can't go to that newly discovered market by the Steve Jobs. And that's why the startup stands for. And who are the entrepreneurs? Entrepreneurs are those who reshuffle the world, who just spins the world to the 360, who just makes a new future, a future that they imagine, that the future that they thought of, that this the future that they have planned. And and I just heard a beautiful speech by Mark Zuckerberg in its Harvard session. So it is like, the each generation do something for the humanity. The generation that was previous to us, it was like, they worked for the several bridges, several infrastructure, computings, they worked on several technologies, and today we are like enjoying the fruits of their hard work. And now the turn is on us, that what we will create to for this humanity, for the generation. So this is something that is going to impact, and this is something that is going to ensure that the humanity will last forever. And it will, and from the humanity, I also mean sustainability, I also mean development, I also mean growth. So there's something like, how are we going to help to actually the new entrepreneurs from the School of Engineering, that how are we going to work for this? So we are going to provide the great platform in the community to enhance your business skills. We are going to create a hub of resources, because as individuals who are aspiring to be an entrepreneur, he does research, he gains skills, he gains knowledge on his individual basis. But when we create a community, we actually collects all this knowledge, all this experience, all these new ideas into a proper place, into a structured manner, where everyone can multiply their knowledge. And times the people in that community are, we're going to provide the exclusive resources that are going to the Phoenix original, and these resources will be created by the product of your ideas and your imagination. We are going to build planned blueprints after discussions, after think tanks, after our events. We're going to provide events, even the pitchathons, and aim for an informative and a proper and competitive growth of this community. We're going to provide the regular guest lectures and webinars to scale up multiple skills by those who actually excels in those skills and create a diverse knowledge. We're going to give you insightful about life, career, and all these aspects for better understanding of life and higher learning, because being an entrepreneur, you also have to be very good at life. So talking about why the JNU is the best place for a startup culture. So why actually, personally, I think that the JNU is going to be the best place, and even in the whole nation, that can actually produce the most vibrant startups in the world. As the Vishesh told about the social entrepreneurship, Babo talked about the startups that are currently in the Indian markets, and why I really thinks looking at those, that the JNU is the best place for the startups, because JNU do have diversity in interests, diversity in ecosystem, diversity in skills and vibrance, and they do have challenging ideas with world-class research that do leads to the new innovation that can actually rejoice not the nation, not only you, but the whole world. JNUites have a really strong will to change the world with new ideas and interest. And the world actually knows that too. So integrating these things to the startup culture can create breakthrough technological solution. And even with the School of Engineering, it is going to be like multiplied by, it is going to multiply that how many startups that the JNU produce, because they have to be technological, and School of Engineering can help that. And we can create a brand of market to boost the economy and the capability of our nation. And through these the vibrant startups, we can actually create that we can serve entire humanity to make this world a better place to live, in this world with lesser problems, with lesser sufferings. So talking about our aim that we are taking with us while working on this club, while working on this a newly formed club, we are going to make startups become successful here, because a lot of startups they just gets launched, and they just fails, can't make even their 3-year anniversary, 5-year anniversary. We want the startups from the JNU to be successful. We just don't want to launch them, but we want them to be successful. We want the students to develop their ideas and establish them to the startup. JNU, we want to deliver value to our startup culture that we are going to create here. We want to create a hub that has the success rate of over 60%. That's the aim that we are going to take with us while working on this, working for this club. So here our working plan, that how are we gonna work. So mainly this plan is like confidential for many of the clubs, but we are gonna make it public, because we have think like, there's so many ways that we can actually achieve working for this club. So we are gonna keep this clubs working is startup centric. So as there's a life of every idea to, from the ideation stage to the establishment stage, the Phoenix is going to be the startup centric. We are gonna, we are going to focus on the research thing. After one gets an idea, we are going to focus on planning and development for both product and the corporate. We are going to help people, to actually plan for better prototype. And the AIC, that is, the that is our, the fortunate element that the JNU has, the Atal Incubation Center, that can host and help people to develop their prototype. After that, people can go for the seed development, traction, scale up, and establishment. And even when the startups actually pass through, from the Phoenix to the seed development traction, they would be actually connected with the Phoenix, so they can actually provide their experiences, their knowledge, and their, the interest, and the guides that they want to give to the next generation that is coming that way. So it is going to be, like a hub for interest, and the double way channel. And through this, we are going to focus on the product development and the corporate development. For as of now, we have, defined these points that we are going to take as a hotspot for our, our focus points, starting from the scope of the address problem and the product, to the legal recognition of the product. And for the corporates, we are gonna, start from the value proposition to the legal recognition of the corporate. We are gonna work on these each startup value points. We are gonna assign weeks to them. We are gonna work together to each of them, where we just want to make a better foundation for the planning and the research for each startup, that is going to, provide a huge drop down in their risk. That is actually gonna lower down their risk if they are gonna have a better foundation planning and research. So these are the future events that are actually we have planned, that the forms that we are going to conduct: the e-summits, workshops, the business competition, guest lecture, and the interviews. And these events are really going to help the startups make a dent in the universe and the society. So we have planned for the upcoming website, that is going to be the, our toolkit, our key platform, where we'll be communicating through the community, where we'll be hosting our, the content, our and the things that we want to share with you, the blogs, articles, and memories. And there's going to be soon another community tab line also.